Welcome to the 29th Miami Jewish Film Festival, the largest Jewish film festival in the world. We want to thank all of our members, sponsors, community partners, volunteers, all of you film lovers, and especially our presenting sponsors, SAGE, the Center for the Advancement of Jewish Education, and the Greater Miami Jewish Federation for their continued support throughout all of these years. My name is Rabbi Efrat Zarin Zohar, and I'm the Executive Director of SAGE. And I'm really excited to be moderating a virtual conversation today with Michael, our actor, director, writer of the script, producer of this incredible movie, Shoshani Riddle, which is premiering at this year's festival. And thank you all for joining us. So I'm going to turn it over to having some questions with Michael. And what I want to ask you is this was clearly an incredible labor of love. I have to say that when I first saw the description, I was kind of like confused and a little bit like, what is this going to be? I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy this. And let me tell you, I was so wrong. I loved this movie. I watched it with my husband. We had so many conversations afterwards. I couldn't get it out of my mind. And it was this incredible unfolding mystery about this person who nobody knows anything about, but who had this enormous impact on very key people in the Jewish world. And so of course my first question to you is, how did you find out this topic, and how did it grab you to make you go on this quest that we can clearly see happening in the course of this movie?
You know, Rabbi Efrat, I think you got the Shoshani virus. There is a virus called Shoshani, and when you get it, you that's it. You cannot
Get rid
get
of
out
it.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got it too. You know, I got it
Hmm.
too, and I worked on this movie for 12 years. 12 years of work. I faced so many problems, and people thought I was just, crazy, obsessed by this topic. But for me, it was not like not like a work. You know, it was a passion. It was more than a hobby. I worked days and nights on it. And you're absolutely right. He's a perfect unknown person,
Hmm.
anonymous. Nobody, you know, the Judaica encyclopedia.
Hmm.
Encyclopedia. It's 12 huge books. There is not once his name. It doesn't appear
Hmm.
in 12 volumes, big. And so most of the people in the world never heard of him. He still belongs to he's in a list of the 10 most mysterious men ever.
Wow.
Yeah. So people believe, and I thought it was also a myth that maybe it never existed. You know, people invent so many kind of strange stories all over the world. So maybe it was just an urban legend, like many other characters. And my first, so you ask about the beginning. I met a man, my first witness, the first man that I met in Israel, who
Hmm.
was a pupil of Shoshani. His name was Abraham Oren, and I met him in a kibbutz. And this old man was 19 years old at the time. He's passed away since then. And he told me about his master, about Shoshani, with sparks in the eyes.
Hmm.
And he said he never in his whole life met someone like this.
Hmm.
So I was already amazed. And he couldn't explain this with, you know, it's beyond words. People say there is humankind in one side and there is Shoshani in the other side. It's so different than any other character. So we can say in a few words, it was vagabond, how do you say, a homeless
A
guy,
vagabond,
uh,
right? Yeah.
vagabond, sometimes sleeping in a bench, sometimes sleeping at people. He was invited all the time, you know, he
Hmm.
was dirty, he was strange. He spoke 30 languages. He traveled the world. He was in America. He was in South America. He was in Europe. He faced two world wars, First World War and Second World War. He knew all the books by heart, everything by heart. Not only the Talmud, of course, and the Mishnah and the Zohar and the Kabbalah, but also when he used to read newspapers, he knew the newspapers by heart, all the
Wow.
newspapers, everything. He had, and you know, some
Photographic
people have
memory. Yes.
graphic memory, exactly. And so really, it sounds like a legend, but I met witnesses. They say, no, it's true. This man existed and he knew everything and he was anonymous. He didn't want to reveal his real identity. So some people believe he was Ashkenazi, other people believe he was Sephardi, and some people say he was an angel, other people say he was the devil, and other people say he was not Jew, and some people say he never existed. All kind of all kind of views on him. And not only that, but his most famous pupil was Elie Wiesel, the
Yes.
Nobel Prize laureate. And Elie Wiesel said that he made him. He said, I became the man I was. Elie Wiesel
Hmm.
said that thanks to this man, thanks to Shoshani. And all his life, he was obsessed by Shoshani. So when I found my first witness and my second witness, and they all say that he was a unique character, I I knew that I have to make this movie because it's an untold story. A man that had huge impact on the Jewish people all over the world because we are all grandchildren of him. I said because we all read Elie Wiesel,
Hmm.
or Levinas, the great philosopher, and I found students in the High Court of Israel, High Court of Justice. There's a judge who was a student of Shoshani, nuclear scientist, in Israel. So he had so big influence on the Jewish people that
Hmm.
we need to tell his story. So
That's
that's
great.
how it
That
began.
was a big piece of the fascination. And actually, the next question that I have for you is really related to what you just mentioned. Do you think that it's a coincidence that that people met Shoshani and then became these brilliant, famous people? Or do you think that their actual meeting with Shoshani is in fact what made them the brilliant, famous people they became?
I think the second option is true because most of them say that he taught them how to think.
Mm.
Even I mentioned this nuclear scientist. His name was Jacques Goldberg. He passed away also, but he was at the Technion, teaching at the Technion, and he said even in Congress of Science in physics, he used to say, "My master Shoshani would have said that, that, and that, and that."
Ah.
So and he studied with him mathematics and also Torah, but at a young age, from 13 years old till 18 or 20 years old, something like that.
Mhm.
And he said he helped me to understand that we now it's a spoiler because he taught him how to think, how to learn anything, a text or the reality, the
Mm.
newspaper, science. The thing that he was teaching, Shoshani, is to always see the things from different angles, to always interpret it. This is very Jewish, not to admit
Yes.
anything. There is no absolute truth.
Mm.
We don't talk, we don't know from God, it doesn't talk to
Hmm.
us anymore. But the text that we have, the Torah and all this Jewish heritage is about interpretation.
Hmm.
Uh, to
Well,
always dig to always dig in the meaning, the more
hmm.
and more to see the different levels of reality.
Right.
And
And the philosopher Levinas, that's absolutely, I mean, it's so fascinating because essentially Levinas made his name by publishing that really all text, every truth is relative, and to some extent creating a postmodern world that we're living in right now. That's the definition of postmodern is it's all up for grabs. We can interpret it any way we can see it. And if that's the case,
exactly,
it's so fascinating to think like Levinas might not have been Levinas without Shoshani. And Levinas has made
absolutely,
this enormous
absolutely. But he says
outsized
it.
impact. That's so
Levinas says it.
remarkable.
He
Yes.
said, he also, Levinas was like, he was Jewish, but he was a German philosopher,
Hmm.
kind of. He was a student of Heidegger, Imar because Heidegger was a Nazi.
Hmm.
And he knew just a little, he knew about Judaism, but he was mostly a German philosopher. And he was something like 40 years old, if I'm not wrong, around 40 years old, when he met this homeless guy. At the beginning, he didn't want to talk to him because, he's serious. He was a professor.
Mm-hmm.
He was educated, and he didn't want to meet someone very special sleeping on a bench. He accepted to meet him, and he changed his life. I mean, suddenly he became a Jewish thinker, Levinas, and
Mm.
he changed the topic of his studies. He was not, phenomenology. That's
Right.
phenomenology. Yeah,
Yes.
he began to talk about ethic, and also I'm sorry, it's a very simple way to say it, but he understood that the infinite world is through the other man. It's the face of the others.
Mm.
We usually philosophy deals, with the world, but Levinas brought back the philosophy to the other, to
Mm.
the ethical responsibility. It's very Jewish. It's very Jewish,
Mm-hmm.
and this is thanks to Shoshani. So think
Wow.
about his influence, his impact on the world, not only on the Jewish world, on the world, because Levinas had a huge impact on France, of course, because he was French, but also in South America,
Mm.
and other parts in the world.
The,
Um, so yes, you can say that Shoshani had a huge impact. And the film was a hit in Israel. I was surprised myself because I thought at the beginning that only philosophers or intellectuals or
mm-hmm.
maybe only religious people. No, even very secular people in Israel, even
Mm-hmm.
children, even all from all the sectors in the Israeli society really liked the film. It was one of Can 11, the
Yes.
Israeli channel, they were surprised. What's happening? It was like
We're getting
viral.
so much
Everybody
traffic.
talk.
What's going
Yeah,
on?
yeah,
Right.
yeah. What's going on?
That's
No, because I can
fantastic.
tell you also, he doesn't begin. Shoshani doesn't belong to any sector. He's not. He's not Haredi, ultra
Mm-hmm.
orthodox. He's not secular. He's not people. He's different.
Yeah.
So
Well, that was
every
also very clear in the movie how
yeah.
he really belonged to no place, almost no time, no group. Like you have hints that he might have been a Moroccan Jew and so forth, but like this is a person like I remember one point in the movie something about somebody seeing him reading something in Tibetan. And I'm like,
Hmm.
what? Like Tibetan is a very tiny minority, like right? Like if you're not from Tibet, who knows Tibetan, right? Like how does he do
That's
that?
Elie
Or
Wiesel.
the
Elie
or
Wiesel
the
says this.
that that
Yeah.
or the anecdote when he was captured during World War II and they found that he was circumcised and he claimed that he was a Muslim, and then they bring in this sheikh or something, the imam, to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
quiz him about the Quran, and the guy walks away saying, "This man is a
Exactly.
scholar of Islam. He knows the Quran better than almost anyone I've ever met." And you're just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
how does one person contain so
So
much
many.
wisdom and be so, unplaceable, untraceable? That's the
Exactly.
craziness of it. Almost like I can see why people would say he's like an angel or something. Like he just doesn't fit in a
Or a
human
devil.
container.
Or a devil.
Or a
Or a
devil, I
devil.
suppose. Well, that's what I wanted to ask. I mean, Elie Wiesel said very clearly that there was a point at which he needed to stop being in
Mhm.
contact with this person. And he also alludes to having made many, many notes from his interactions with Shoshani.
Right. Right.
And what
Mhm.
happened to those notes? Like, did you ever try and find out in the
I
archives of
tried.
Wiesel, like, where are the notes about Shoshani? He says very clearly, I have so many
He
notes, and one day
said,
I'll write a
I
book.
said, so I was in touch with Marion Wiesel, she
Yes, his
passed
wife.
away,
Right.
his wife, and she looked everywhere and she couldn't find the notes. And now I'm in touch with Elisha Wiesel, his
Right, his
son,
one son,
and
right?
same thing. He couldn't find the notes of it. I hope it's not lost. I hope we'll find them one day. But you're
Wow.
absolutely right that Elie Wiesel said he was dangerous, Shoshani, because his way of teaching was to how do you say, to break the ego of his
Mm,
students. So sometimes people didn't like it. He sometimes humiliated, but
Mm-hmm.
most of the time they understood why he was doing this. You know, he was
Mm-hmm.
saying, you're stupid, you don't understand anything, you should,"
Mm.
you know, he was talking like that. He was not a
Like a
pleasant man.
tough
He was not.
taskmaster kind of
Very
teacher.
tough,
Yeah.
very
I can
tough,
also
very tough.
see how, like, look, you're a young man right out of Auschwitz, recovering physically, psychologically, everything. And then this guy is like mentally beating you up. I could see why you
Exactly.
might feel like, oh, I need some self-protection here. I don't know what's going to happen to me psychically if I continue with this.
But
Wow.
again, you see,
Wow.
he said he became Elie Wiesel that we know thanks to him. And he was obsessed with him all his life. In many books of Elie Wiesel, there is a character of a genius homeless guy, and that's him. I
Oh,
mean,
that's so
he wrote
interesting. I
about
will
him.
now go back and reread Elie
Yes,
Wiesel to
yes,
see how he's alluding to
yes,
Shoshani in his
yeah.
works. That is
In
so
one of
fascinating.
his first books,
Mhm.
he wrote about a character named Varadi. But Varadi, you know, it's rose, Vered in Hebrew, it's like Shoshani.
Oh.
So sometimes he changed the name, but there is always a Shoshani in most, not always, because he wrote also about other topics, of course. But
Wow.
you know, unfortunately, Elie Wiesel couldn't see the film because
Mhm.
he passed away before. I believe I had the privilege to get the last interview of him. I think it was the last one
Oh, wow.
in 2015, and he passed away in 2016. And but I hope you would. I showed the movie to other students and they really liked, and they said they recognized the man. So,
That's
you
the
know, because
biggest tribute.
I must say something about the movie. The big mistake would have been to make a biopic,
Mm,
um, to tell from the beginning where he was born, what his real name, and so on. No, because all the people who knew Shoshani met a mystery. He wanted to teach people that mystery is a good thing. Even you know, when he was teaching a
mm,
text, if the student say that he understands it, say, okay, so I'm leaving. You don't need me. You understand everything. You don't need me. So he was looking for questions, for
hmm.
mystery, and there is also a quote by Einstein. He was in contact with Albert Einstein. He was in.
Wow.
I couldn't find. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the letters, but people there were witnesses that they read the
Mm,
letters of Albert Einstein to Shoshani. And he's talking about Einstein also about the importance of mystery in art and in science. It's always the same question to understand that we don't understand.
hmm.
First, to know this, and then to try to know more. That's the
Wow.
beginning of wisdom.
Yes, absolutely. And that became very clear in the movie how that, that mystery unfolded. It was so beautifully done. I just thought the way you structured the movie was just fantastic. It really brought
Thank
you
you.
in and made you, like you said, sort of as obsessed as you became
Obsessed.
about this person. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank you, Michael Grynszpan, director, the screenwriter, the producer of the movie Shoshani Riddle. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely go right now and watch it. Once again, thank you to all of our members,
Thank you, Rabbi
sponsors,
Efrat. Thank you very much.
community partners, volunteers, all of you film lovers, and especially our presenting sponsors, SAGE, the Center for the Advancement of Jewish Education, and the Greater Miami Jewish Federation for their continued support throughout all these years, and you, our audience, for participating in the 29th Annual Miami Jewish Film Festival. Thank you very much.